Okay, so my video cut out on me right as I was making the butter mayo. But I wanted to show you, I've had a little time to let it set up in the refrigerator. I wanted to show you how it did. The butter mayo stayed kind of liquidy at first, and then it started to fluff up, but it didn't get thick and creamy like the olive oil mayo did. So I'm going to show you how it turned out. Put it in a little container. And really when it set up pretty much just like butter would. So this is not going to be usable as mayo on something, but it would be really good to melt onto something like a piece of meat, like steak or something along those lines. And in that case, I would probably add, it has a really good buttery, lemony flavor. So I would probably have added some fresh garlic to this and some fresh herbs and made almost like a compound mayo butter or butter mayo. And I think it would be really good on chicken or on fish or on beef, either one. So that's how that turned out. Not going to be very conducive to making salad dressing though, which is what I'm going to work on right now. Now this is a salad dressing recipe that I developed. I'm sure you're aware the whole reason that we made homemade mayo is because the processed seed oils that are in most commercial mayos are not good for us. So we make our mayo from scratch. And so because of that, a lot of salad dressings, commercial salad dressings, in fact almost all commercial salad dressings also contain soybean oil or canola oil or something along those lines. So I developed this particular salad dressing recipe to be a real quick, easy method. I really love bacon and tomato sandwiches, bacon, tomato and mayo. Grew up eating them, and it's one of the flavors that I miss on keto. And we don't eat a ton of tomatoes because they are a little on the carby side, but I do allow myself a few small tomatoes. And I have a beautiful spinach salad here that I made. That's just baby spinach and a few little tiny slivers of some onion. You could use green onion if you want to lower the carb count even further. A few thin slices of cucumber from my garden, about 4 Kalamata olives, and there are 3 little baby tomatoes that I sliced up. And believe it or not, that tomato will give me the tomato flavor that I want. Now, I have cooked my bacon right here. And this is 2 slices of bacon that I've just cooked in a skillet. And I'm going to take those and put them directly onto my salad. But I'm going to leave my bacon grease in the pan. Okay, now I'm left with about, I would say maybe a scant 2 tablespoons of bacon grease in there, maybe a full 2 tablespoons, now that that's all kind of running down there. I am going to slice just a teensy bit of onion, and remember, onion's a high carb food for the most part, a high carb vegetable, but it doesn't really take very much onion flavor. Can you see how thinly I'm slicing that onion? It really doesn't take very much onion flavor to give a nice onion effect. So I'm just doing a few shaves of onion. And this is going to be salad dressing for 1. This is like you would make for a salad for yourself. If you wanted to make it for 2, you would definitely want to do 4 slices of bacon instead of 2. And I'm going to put a little caramelization on this bacon. And I'm also going to add just a little bit of salt and some pepper to it too. Just going to let that cook and soften up just a little bit. And that'll also help get some of my bacon drippings out of the corners of the pan. Now I'm going to make 2 salad dressings for you guys. I'm going to do this one that is like a single serving make as you go salad dressing. This wouldn't be one that would store well in the refrigerator because the same thing's going to happen to it that happened to my butter mayo. It's going to set up hard when you put it in the refrigerator because bacon grease, you all know what happens to bacon grease when you put it in the refrigerator. It solidifies. So that's starting to get a little softer there. Okay, now I'm going to add a small clove of garlic. Little hint, I freeze my fresh garlic so it lasts longer. I just stick the whole bag of fresh garlic in the freezer. And it also makes it smash out easier. Cook just a little bit of garlic in with that. Add the garlic second because it'll burn easier than the onion will. You don't really want to cook it too very long. Oh, good grief, that smells so good. This is the time we need smell-o-vision. Okay, turn that off. Now, here comes my vinaigrette part. This is a bacon onion vinaigrette. This is red wine vinegar. And I'm going to add about equal parts of red wine vinegar and bacon grease. Remember I said I had about 2 tablespoons of bacon grease in there. Now you can use white vinegar if you don't have red wine vinegar. Just don't get into the balsamic because the balsamic has sugars in it. Okay, now I have basically a vinaigrette here, but you can probably see that that it's not sticking together really well. So the way that I'm going to fix that is I'm going to take my mayo that I made with olive oil, and I'm going to add about 1/4 cup, well, less than that. That's probably about 2 tablespoons of mayo there. And it looks like I probably could have gotten by with less than that, because this looks like enough salad dressing for 2 salads. I might have to share with my son. He's my camera guy today. And so that's pretty much it. I'm just going to pour that over. And give it a little bit of a toss. So, get a little bit of each of the things here. Gotta get some bacon in there. Could use a little more salt. Very, very, very good. It does remind me of that whole bacon and tomato and mayonnaise thing. In fact, let me get a tomato here and a piece of bacon. Oh yeah. Very nice. Okay, so that's one version of a homemade salad dressing made with the mayonnaise that we made yesterday with the homemade mayo. Now I'm going to make another one, and this one you can store in your refrigerator. Corin, you can't film and eat at the same time. My son's being ornery. Okay, so what I've got here is I'm going to make an avocado lime ranch. And we're going to do a spicy avocado lime ranch because I like spice, but if you don't like it, you can leave out the peppers. So I have a cup, this is a little more than a cup of sour cream. And if you don't have a food processor, you can chop up your, mash up your avocado and chop up your garlic or mince your garlic separate. Seeds being difficult. Well, I thought I had a spoon to scoop this out of here with. I'll take this one. I've got a little bruised spot right there, but I don't think it'll hurt anything. We're going to put some lime in that. Whoop. 1 avocado. And my second avocado. That part's a little hard. I think I'm going to leave that little bit in there. Now remember that avocados are really good for potassium. So if you're not a huge fan of eating like guacamole or something like that, this makes a really nice creamy dip. That was a hard spot. Same thing on both sides of that avocado. Rinse my fingers here. Okay. Then I'm going to cut up my serrano. And if you want to use the serrano but you don't want it to be really spicy, you can... oh, that one's being difficult. More than one way to skin a cat, isn't there? I'm trying to keep this off my fingers because I wear contact lenses and I don't really want to get this on my fingers. Because when I go to take it out later, it will not be pretty. Okay, so if you want to make this less spicy, you can go ahead and just seed this. Which I'll take some of the seeds out, but I will leave some in. Just do a real rough chop so the food processor has to do less work. So yeah, if you want a little bit of spice, but you don't want that much spice, just go ahead and take those seeds and ribs out and it'll make it less. Okay, now we're going to add the juice of a lime. And you could use some cilantro in this too, but I find that cilantro doesn't let it store really well because it tends to turn brown and get icky in the refrigerator. So if you want to add some fresh cilantro, if you're going to serve this right away, then you could do that too. And you don't have to use lime juice if you want to use lemon, or you could just use some vinegar in this as well. But I really like the fresh, bright lime flavor in it. Okay. What next? Oh, my mayonnaise. That's what I have next. So I'm going to put about a half cup of mayo in here. Don't you love the way I measure? Okay, now my seasonings that are going to go in here. I'm going to add some salt. So this will be about a half teaspoon of salt, but I would tell you to do this to taste. We want it to be pretty salty, but you don't want it to overpower, the salt to overpower the other flavors. So let's do that much for now, and then we will taste some more in a minute. Okay, now my other seasonings. This is cumin. This is just dried and ground cumin. and it's one of the classic flavors that you'll find in Mexican style cooking. And I'm going to add just a 1/4 teaspoon of that, a little heaping 1/4 teaspoon of that, and I may add more later. I may decide I like a little more cumin in there. And then this is my chili seasoning, and I apologize to the rest of the world, but this is locally made chili seasoning. And I love it because you'll hear me talk about a lot that I want my spices to not have salt in them, because you're paying for seasoning or spice prices and you're getting a lot of salt. So they actually can water it down, basically water down your spices with salt. And you can always add your own salt, and then you get to know what's in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/2 teaspoon of chili seasoning, but this one doesn't have any salt in it. And it's really good seasoning. Doesn't have any fillers and no sugar added. It's just ground chili peppers and other spices and dehydrated onion and garlic. So it's a great one. Okay, now I'm going to put my lid on and I'm going to give this a few... Oh, I forgot my garlic. I have 3 cloves of garlic here. You can do more or less depending on how much garlic flavor you like. I love my garlic press. If you don't have one, it's a good thing to get, especially if you like fresh garlic. That serrano feels hot already. Okay, so a quick simple version of this one would just be to mash your avocado, add your sour cream, your mayonnaise, and your acid, and then your seasonings to it. And you wouldn't have to do the fresh this or the fresh that. I just wanted to do the original version for you so you could see how to do it. I dripped lime juice on the front of here. It's actually really easy to make your own salad dressing. You just stir together your sour cream with your mayonnaise and a little bit of some sort of a liquid or an acid to water it down a little so that it makes it more of a salad dressing consistency, and your spices, and make sure you don't forget your salt. So you can play around with this. I'm going to taste, and then I'm going to adjust my seasonings. I'm going to take out a little bit so you can see what it looks like there. You know, it looks like green ranch dressing. Oh goodness, that's so good. Oh, and the serrano gives it a nice kick. Okay, I think that I need just a tiny bit more salt in it. And I would actually like a little more of the cumin in it. So I used a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to double it and use another 1/4 teaspoon and make it a 1/2. Creamied it up just a little bit more too. Look at that, isn't that pretty? Nice thick ranch dressing. This would actually make a good veggie dip too. So, oh yeah, that would make a good salad dressing. Okay, so this would be great on a like a fajita salad if you wanted to, or a taco salad. It's a great dressing for that. If you don't want the Mexican style flavor in there, you could use the avocado with some Italian herbs and some garlic and some onion powder would be good in there too. And I usually, let's see, for the ranch style dressing, I will also add some parsley and some chives and some dill. So depending on what dried herbs you have in your cabinet, you can make different flavor profiles for this ranch dressing. So it doesn't have to be the Mexican style flavors. You could leave out the chili powder and the cumin and add in whatever flavors you'd like to see in there. So thank you guys for joining me in my kitchen, and I hope you have fun making mayo and salad dressing. See you later.